Welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel. In this video, we'll show you how we process chickens from a chef's perspective. For those of you who don't know, I'm a culinary school graduate, and we do things a little differently compared to most processors. The first thing to do is get our scalding water ready by filling a large pot set over a gas burner. Turn the gas on and ignite with one of these cool fire starters that'll practically last forever. Sanitation is crucial, and we use Star San sanitizer to kill harmful microbes. Just a ½ ounce of sanitizer diluted into 2.5 gallons of water will give you plenty of solution for most butchering endeavors. Mix by hand and toss in some clean towels. Here's a cool chefy trick. Place a sanitized towel under your cutting board to prevent it from sliding around while you work. Now we'll show you our processing setup. We built this kill station out of some scrap lumber, and it holds up to 4 birds at a time. We place 5-gallon buckets under each cone, and the buckets have a little dirt in them to help absorb some of the blood. This makes cleanup so much easier. We set up our electric plucker in a big tub to help with the feather collection and cleanup. Hand washing is the most effective way to reduce the spread of germs. Start by wetting your hands with warm water. The FDA recommends a minimum of 100 degrees. Then use soap to work up a good lather. Ashley's using our Buzz Off anti-insect soap that we make. Make sure you continue to lather vigorously for at least 20 seconds. Get underneath those fingernails as well. Thoroughly rinse before drying with a paper towel. Use the paper towel to turn off the faucet and then discard it. The scalding water should be between 155 and 165 degrees. Ours went a little over, so we added some cold water to get the temperature where we wanted it. Now let's get one of our pasture-raised chickens. This little rooster looks good. I put him into the cone, breast side facing me, and guided his head through the bottom. A quick and firm slash with a very sharp knife humanely dispatches the chicken. Allow it to finish draining for a few minutes before moving on to the scalding. Ashley's now gloved up and grabbed the chicken out of the cone and took a few steps over to our pot of water. She submerges the whole bird with the exception of the feet for 5 seconds and then pulls it up to drain. She does this 3 to 4 times to get the feathers loose enough to easily pull out. If the water's too cold, the feathers won't come out, and too hot, you risk cooking the chicken and the skin is more likely to tear while plucking. You could do this by hand, but we prefer this plucker. 15 to 20 seconds is all it takes to remove most of the feathers. There may still be a few that you'll have to pull out by hand. Now we use a honing steel to get our boning knife razor sharp. These are a must-have for anyone who uses knives for anything in the kitchen. We start by removing the head. We already started the cut a few minutes ago at the kill station, now we're just completing the cut. Now to remove the feet. Bend it towards the bird's neck to create a separation in the joint. Use the knife to cut off the foot. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We trim the talons off at this time because these feet will be made into dog treats. No one wants their pooch to get an internal scratch. The feet are also incredible additions when making chicken stock. Next, we make a small incision in the neck before switching over to our hands. A sharp knife will easily nick the digestive tract and cause nasty spillage. Your hands won't. You can see me tearing away the neck skin to expose the trachea, esophagus, and crop. Right now I'm tearing the connective tissue that holds these organs in place. You'll see why in just a minute. The crop is the organ attached to the right breast that stores food before it makes its way further into the digestive system. Not giving your chickens feed for 24 to 36 hours prior to processing will ensure the crop is empty, minus some grass and bugs, and make this part of the process way less messy. Once these 3 organs are loose, we can flip the bird over onto its breast. At the base of the tail, there's a gland that produces oil that the chickens use to preen themselves. It's extremely bitter and serves no culinary purpose, so we remove the tail entirely. We just barely cut through the tailbone and stop before getting to the vent. Flip the bird onto its back again to open up the cavity to remove the viscera. Pinch the skin, pull it away from the innards, and make a very shallow cut or two through the skin to expose the abdominal membrane. Now we use our hands to avoid cutting into the intestines. Stick your fingers through the small hole and begin opening up the cavity. We have to cut the vent away from the chicken, so we make a space next to it for the knife to cut without puncturing the digestive tract. Cut through without hitting the vent or the thigh, then pull it upward to complete the cut. Now we do the same thing on the opposite side. We'll use the cuts we just made as a guide to finish removing the tail and vent. There we go. There's just a little connective tissue to remove by hand before sticking a hand into the cavity, getting a good grip on the gizzard, and pulling firmly. The entire digestive system will come out all at once. There are the intestines and gizzard. There's the liver. Now to continue pulling as the crop and esophagus follow along. That's why we loosened them in the beginning. This is the gizzard. You can see that our chickens do in fact eat their greens. This is the liver. The little green thing is the gallbladder, and you definitely don't want to eat that. It's easy to remove by pinching it off. The heart and lungs are all that's left to remove. The heart comes out very easily. Enough of these will make a delicious appetizer when marinated, skewered, and grilled. The lungs are attached to the ribs along the chicken's back. You can use the tip of your finger to scrape them away from the ribs and then pull them out. This is probably the trickiest part. Now we'll just remove the excess neck skin. Our birds are put into ice water to cool down. The feet are kept in this bag, and the hearts, livers, and gizzards are in this one. Everything else goes into the buckets for now before being composted. Let's move inside the house and remove these necks. Make a small incision, give it a little twist, and complete the cut. These are saved for chicken stock. Now we're ready to shrink wrap. Follow the instructions that come with your bags. Ours require a pot of water to be brought up between 190 to 195 degrees. We lift the chicken and put it head side first into the bag. This straw came with the bags. Place one end into the cavity, then pinch the open end of the bag around the straw. Use a zip tie, also included with these bags, to cinch it tightly. Use tongs to avoid putting your hands in near boiling water, and submerge the chicken for 5 to 10 seconds. The air inside the cavity will exit through the straw, and the bag will tighten around the chicken when it's pulled out and exposed to the cool air. Now pull the straw out and get the zip tie as tight as possible. Looks good to go! Once you've finished all the birds, you can trim the excess zip tie and plastic from the bag. We recommend refrigerating them overnight before cooking or moving them to the freezer. Let's go back outside and clean up our equipment. A pressure washer is extremely helpful. We bottled some of our sanitizer solution and sprayed the cleaned equipment to kill microbes and prevent those nasty germs from spreading. The next day we moved the birds into our chest freezer. We still had others from a previous batch, so we made sure to put the new ones at the bottom to ensure good rotation. Here they are the next day, nice and frozen. This was a Cornish cross chicken, the same breed sold in grocery stores. This was a Red Ranger. Notice the different shape? We'll be posting a video in the near future that goes into great detail about the pros and cons of these two different birds. Look, dehydrated chicken foot dog treats. Our dogs love them, and yours will too. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you learned something new today. Please comment or ask questions below, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time!